They talk about secret menus on like In-N-Out and
You're
that shit.
listening to the Gas
What's up,
Digital
Christian?
Network.
Here, guys. We're here. Welcome back to Slick and Thick. It's real now. It's real now. I've been waiting to go live. I know all you rabid Slick and Thick fans are pissed. And G almost had a conniption, almost died again.
As well they should be.
Almost died again. G almost died again. But I'm joined here. I'm obviously Mickey Gall. I'm the young warrior king from the USA, more specifically New Jersey. Joined by my co-host, Wild Bill Hendrickson. Hello.
These giggles have been brought to you by Rudy'sFlowersWI.com. That's Rudy'sFlowersWI.com. If you want to giggle like Wild Bill Hendrickson, you will go to Rudy'sFlowersWI.com.
Well, G, you're alive, dude.
Hey.
Dude, I heard you died.
Yeah, and whoever in the comments said, rest in pudding, I will find you, and I will shake your hand. That's hilarious. That's fucking amazing how you came up with that.
Yeah, dude, I heard you were dead.
Yeah,
and like
because you told
I
people.
called you one time.
You told everybody
I called
I was
one
dead.
time and you didn't answer your phone.
Yep.
So I was like, for sure you were dead. Maybe I got bad information. I also think I talked to Dee Dee the witch.
Yep.
And I said to bring you back to life. So are you
Yes.
sure you weren't dead?
Nope, not positive.
You're not positive, right?
Not
How
positive.
could you know?
How would anybody know?
Unless
Maybe
you like
this whole
crossed
thing's a
over to the
simulation.
other side.
Yeah, I crossed over
Did
and I
you?
came back.
Did you cross over?
I didn't cross over. But speaking
No
of crossing over, we have Jess Fawkes here. What's going on, Jess?
What's up?
Now, Jess, is Jessica? How do you go? What's the moniker
It's
here?
usually Jessica, but people say Jess.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's either or.
All right. So, how old is Jessica?
Really?
Yeah. Well, Jessica's
Right
only a
off the
couple
bat
years
with the
old, right?
hard-hitting
Yeah.
questions, huh, G?
Yeah.
Let's go with late 40s.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. So, we like to start the show off.
You don't look a day over 39.
Since I came back to life, I've had a new outlook, and I think we should all
So you did
engage
die.
in that. Huh?
You did die.
No, but the cynical side of me died, Mick. And what was reborn is this beautiful optimist that sees nothing but the good in people.
Wow.
And that's why I want
I
to
wonder
ask
what
you.
had that effect on you.
Sex. So, lots of good
That'll
sex.
do it.
Now I feel better. And I'm
right.
reborn in, like a part of me came out of a vagina again. And now I feel reborn.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It made a noise that was similar
What was that
to...
noise you were doing before? No, that was...
you blew it. You blew
Come on.
Oh, you want the noise?
Yes,
There
that
you go.
noise.
That wasn't quite it either. It sounded like it was like something dropping in a... Like it was liquid dropping in like a bowl. Do it again, Bill. One more
Yeah.
time.
Bill, if you're going to sit in the big guy's seat, when you're called upon, you got to fucking perform, buddy. Oh, this is horrible.
That was bad. That was bad.
Police Academy 5.
Yeah, it wasn't nearly as offensive as it was the
Caddyshack
first
2.
time.
All right. So give me one thing you're grateful for here, Mick, on this beautiful Monday.
Oh my goodness.
I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for my family's health.
All right.
I'm glad everyone's healthy and happy.
That's a good
And
one.
my family. I love my family.
Oh, this guy loves his family. What a
Hey, leave me alone, guys. What the heck?
Bill, what are you grateful for?
Beautiful day in South Florida.
This.
And may I say, without the sun,
Yeah.
nothing exists.
Nothing exists.
We don't see anything but what is illuminated by the sun.
True.
Hanachi.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, there's no...
They turn out the sun. We don't see. We're walking around like,
Yep.
you know what I
for
mean?
sure. Yeah, I'm sure the people with melanoma is super grateful for the sun.
What?
So, Jess, what we got? What are you grateful for?
Being here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Something different.
Have you done
new.
podcasts before?
No, never.
This is your first one?
Yes.
Yeah,
We're taking our
this
pod
is what
virginity.
We do.
Yeah.
Popping pod
Exciting.
cherries over here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Keep popping pod cherries.
I'm grateful for Cherry Coke Zero because it spikes my sugar without actually giving me any. So it's got like it's keeping me at 1.99 diabetic.
There's a whole lot of different information on that. Like some people say like that the diet soda like spikes your insulin and that
Yeah.
they say the diet soda's worse.
really bad for you. It's actually worse for losing weight apparently because even though it has
I've
no
heard
calories,
otherwise.
Yeah.
By a lot of people. I've also seen smart people say otherwise.
it's poison.
It's
And I
confusing.
know it's poison, but I love it.
You had
It's
some
amazing.
today?
Life's
Oh,
confusing.
yeah. Cherry Coke Zero?
How many?
Where'd you get that at?
I had one.
Where?
Huh?
Where?
What do you mean? What
Where'd
do you
you
think?
ac- where'd
What do
you-
what do you
where'd
taking
you
notes
accue
on
one?
everything that
I don't know when you. When
every-
did you sneak one of these?
every single time
I'm trying to keep this big boy on a diet.
Every time I eat something, he's like, "What do you got there? What do you got there?" He's like,
Yeah.
he's like positively bullying me. I've never been
Yeah.
positive bullied.
Is it
before.
working?
Yeah,
I'm like a food Nazi.
but I'm not grateful for it.
No.
That I can tell you. Yeah, hey, what do you got there?
I'm gonna
Nothing.
get G
I
another
have
4
nothing.
years of life. You're gonna
So
live.
how long-
You're gonna
how long
live
will
to
that be?
64.
Ugh, sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
That's gross.
But man, boy, am I happy you're back, kinda.
Hey, speaking of kind of happy about something, are you excited to be in the WWE now?
I'm not in the WWE.
I think Vince McMahon and his new porn stash say different. It looks like the UFC and the WWE buddy.
So, from my understanding,
Pull up Vince McMahon's
Endeavor.
porn stash, by the way, guys.
Who do you want to wrestle first?
Let me get back to that,
All right.
Bill. Great question, though. Thank you. Thank you for throwing it my way. I think Endeavor, who owns the UFC, the majority of the UFC, and now owns WWE. They're the top dog,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So I don't get how you think WWE owns UFC or that UFC owns. People think people
No, it's a
hit me up,
partnership. It's
like,
a partnership. But WWE is a larger chunk of the company now than the UFC.
what
is.
company?
Endeavor.
Okay.
So Endeavor.
Like they paid more money for WWE.
So Endeavor has 51%, WWE has 49%. So WWE is 49%. The UFC is only a percentage of Endeavor.
right.
Are you following so far?
Kind of.
Yeah, numbers are tough for the big guy. So when you got 49% of something and you have 51%, 51's the bigger number.
get that.
Yeah, but when you're only a
So are you
portion
saying
of the 51%,
WWE and UFC own part of Endeavor?
oh my God, no.
Then what are you
talking
saying?
about here? Endeavor's a parent company.
Understood.
Okay, so
William Morris Endeavor.
boom. So Bud Light, all right, is part of Anheuser-Busch. Anheuser-Busch buys into Coca-Cola.
I don't like when you talk down to me, and also I think you're making it. I think you're making it more difficult than it is.
Did you understand what I was talking about?
I'm following.
Uh-huh. How about you?
I got you.
Okay. You want some
All right,
crayons
so
or-
can someone else explain it then?
Please.
All right, go. Come
Okay,
on, we
so
both explain. We both understand.
Endeavor owns the UFC,
Right, like I said.
right?
Yep.
And so the UFC makes up a portion of Endeavor.
Right.
And now Endeavor owns 51% of WWE, and WWE owns 49%. So if you take the small portion of the UFC from that Endeavor,
Whoa. Here's where you lost me. So Endeavor owns 51% of WWE.
Yep.
right?
And WWE owns 49% of what?
WWE of Endeavor. They
Of Endeavor or of WWE?
Endeavor. What are you? I don't understand what you're missing here. It's all Endeavor now. It's all Endeavor.
Okay. Well, no, there's still the UFC.
Yes, they're different companies. Yeah,
I know.
but they're different companies under one bigger company.
Yes.
Okay, so now the bigger portion of that company is the WWE, not the UFC.
Okay. The bigger portion of that company,
Of Endeavor,
Yep.
yeah.
which means what?
We don't know yet. But there's
All right, well, sick story.
Anyway, so basically Vince McMahon's your boss. So there,
Cool. He seems nice. You know what I heard about Vince McMahon?
what?
Is he makes sure he shaves every day because he's like, I will not let facial hair defeat me.
He had a mustache this morning when he announced the.
I know. So I can't wait to see this.
If you
mustache.
if
that
you
was
pull
my
up the
callback.
mustache,
And
if you pull up the
That's a
mustache,
true story.
you'll understand why he shaves every day. This guy looks like
He's like,
fucking
I'll never be unshaven.
John Waters.
Why would I let? Dude, he's the man.
I agree, but wait till you see this mustache before we move forward. I mean, I get
Who's
he's
gonna
your
show me the
he's your
mustache?
boss now, so I get it. But
Suck it up.
I'll just have to show you because our producers aren't pulling it.
Yo,
up.
no, it'd be sick if like that TV we could pull shit up on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be cool, huh? Are we
Hey, pop,
positive
pops.
we're
Let's
live?
let's make shit happen. Yeah. All right. Omri, we live. Christian, we
Yes,
live.
yes, we are live.
All right.
We are live, and people are already making fun of G. So
Yeah.
we're definitely live.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad. I'm away. I'm away
Bill,
for
are you
one. I'm away
disappointed?
for one day.
Are you disappointed he came back to life?
People lose respect.
I'm just curious what happened.
Because we heard, right, Bill?
What happened?
We heard you were dead.
In death.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You heard that?
Yes.
What? So how'd you
And
hear? How'd you hear I died?
Here's the thing, dude. I don't reveal my sources.
Yeah.
obviously I was either misinformed or I performed, either was
I
misinformed.
feel like you knew I was filming in
either
New York
mis-
all week. I feel
You
like
what?
you knew that. I feel like you knew I was
Filming what?
in New York. TheADSide.comand.
You were filming?
I feel like you knew that though.
I feel like you told me you were.
Yeah.
But then I thought like you died like en route.
No, I feel like you knew that I was working with, dude, I
Dude, I wouldn't
pretty
make
good
jokes
comics
like that.
all week.
I wouldn't make jokes like that.
Yeah.
So were you dead or were you not dead?
No, I was alive the whole time.
Oh.
What was it like being dead?
Great question.
The group chat
Great question.
theorizes that G saw the lights and then thought about all the snacks he hasn't eaten yet, and that dragged him back.
Which snacks did you think about?
They call him Big Jesus.
Yeah.
He came back to life.
I'm a big sweets guy. I like sweets. I'm not a big salty snack guy. If anything would bring me back to life, it'd be like putting my face down like a big old fucking cake or something like that. You know, like, you know what I had on Friday, which was delicious? I had this fucking upside down pineapple angel food cake, which was fucking stand. Angel food? Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's
It's
unbelievable
like
how good that shit
ambrosia,
is.
food of the gods. Angel food? That's you probably
It's like
got
a
it in
compressed
heaven.
crowd.
Right.
I
You
got
probably
it in
got
heaven.
it in heaven.
Right.
Yeah.
Back
Well,
to prove it proves
tell
what
you,
we're saying.
you know,
man. Give
I-
me some, Bill.
got
That
to-
proves it, bro.
He is dropping hints.
I got to work with the great Dave Landau all week, so I was in heaven, guys. Please book me. All right, so let's. Without further ado, we have Jessica here. Now, Jessica, there's been some news recently. Now, how do you identify, first of all? So we get, I don't want to dead name you or anything. like
Jessica.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jessica, she, but I'm still male.
that. You're still male.
Yeah.
So you're a drag? Is that where that comes in, or
God, dude, it's such a weird.
are you a dragon?
No, so most people look for a Tupperware container to put you in. It's like you're either gay, drag, trans.
Well, I mean, you have every fucking letter in the alphabet to choose from now.
yeah.
So I mean,
and I'm not any of those letters.
What?
I'm not LGBT or Q. I don't
or the
fit into any
plus
of that.
or the IA.
What's the IA? I don't even know.
I was hoping you could identify.
Yeah, if someone looks it up, I'll know.
It's for intersex and asexual.
Wow, thank you.
So I still
Good
don't.
job, Om.
I still don't know.
Good job, Om.
Still not there.
Yeah, so I mean, this is sort of a becoming like that. This was this was abuse, and then that sort of led to a fixation, and then like typical for a lot of people.
You said
like
this
me.
was abuse?
It starts with abuse.
What does that mean?
So when I was young, to have a parent that was just, she was so viciously, she was born illegitimate.
Your mother? You're
My
talking?
mother, yeah.
Okay.
So my grandfather was over in the war or something like that. And so while he was over in the war, my grandmother had my mother, and then I think raised her like just, like a bad golfer blames the club after a bad shot. My grandmother blamed the baby for all of, her problems. Like if she yells at the baby loud enough, no one will notice that she was slutty. You know what I mean? So whatever. So my mother,
blaming the arrow, not the Indian.
that's it. So my mother I don't know anything about my mother's childhood. Nothing. Like zero. So I asked her once, and unfortunately, so what, she carried all the shame that was on her, and it all got rolled down onto me and my sister. So we were raised pretty badly, not to beat her up, but I mean, it wasn't like she was raised at Disney, so I've literally just healed from everything probably in the last month or two. So I can actually not be rageful towards, because it kind of steals your life. So I just decided at one point, like, I have to figure this out. So I just said, screw it. I'm going to dress like this and figure it out. And oh my God, like to say if I'm like trans or going to be, or I don't know, like there's a lot to figure out, but I'm not a woman trapped in a man's body.
You feel healed now?
I feel healed. Yeah. It took a lot. Like this
You
guy,
said the last month or two, you started to feel healed?
I started this process in December of 2018, and I met Gerard, like March of 2022?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it was somewhere around there. So it was pretty new that was like my first night going out to the straight bars. I was kind of hanging in the safety of the drag bars. And so, yeah, we met that night, but like the response was so incredible.
Roxanne's one of my favorite dives.
Yeah. So, but I would be out with, this was like obviously my shame, like in the 80s. What am I going to, you can't tell your friends you're doing something, like you think you're the only one on earth that has this grotesque virus. But to be at my stage,
Well, you could have been like a Bowie fan.
When you say grotesque virus, what do you mean? Like you had the desire to
that you
dress
want to
as a-
be
as a
this, and your
woman?
friends are going to destroy you if they find out about
So
this.
you had this desire in the 80s?
Since I was 5.
Since you were 5 years old? Okay.
Really? So when you talk about desire, you're talking about like...
Just to be this. You have no idea what it means. I had to find what it meant, which means turning the volume down on your anger and your rage and your pain. Yeah, it was this guy, Dr. Joe Dispenza. Have you heard of him?
Yeah,
I practice his meditations every day.
We talked about him on on last week's podcast.
Who's this?
Joe Dispenza.
Joe
He's,
Dispenza.
Breaking
like
the habit of being
meditation guy.
yourself. So basically you learn how to use quantum physics. Instead of attacking your memories, you attack the body. So the body is like, if you think of being like afraid of heights or spiders or something, if you're afraid of heights, like you could be standing on a balcony like in Vegas or something, right? That's 100 stories up and you go, oh, you got to come check this view. But to you, you're like, I can see you outside. I know you're safe. I know the thing's not going to fall off the building. But to me, the idea of walking out onto that, your whole body fills with panic.
Sure.
Right? So it's kind of like that with your emotions, that it's the same way with resentment or anger, things like that, that your body gets addicted to feelings and it'll flood you. So when you're stuck in one of those thought loops where you just can't stop thinking about something, like, oh, it's like you're mad at someone or resenting, it's your body that's flooding with a chemical and your brain is dancing to it.
And your body was presenting this to you continuously since you were 5?
God, I had serious crap. I had to, like, I mean, you're talking like with my mother, what had happened, like I'm fine now, but like she really just, my sister and I were born as like extensions of her, like expected to act like adults by age 4 or 5, like, you know, so you don't embarrass her. It was really, really, really bad. But that's also something that I'm grateful for, you know, that fight, that struggle, and then this, and I kind of get at my stage of life to have this that makes sense to me. This isn't failure or something. It's just like, oh, so this is something that was shame to me, and to all of a sudden be out and have like incredible response to it, like downtown and stuff like that, like amazing. And it just sizzles you because you're like, I'm supposed to be embarrassed. Aren't I supposed to be just like ashamed of myself and all that? So the last year has been crazy.
So you said since you were 5, you had the desire. Do you think you were born with the desire, or the abuse triggered it?
So what I came with after meditation, like the meditations help you clear like your cookies and your cache and your opinions and what you think you know. So I had a vision after a meditation where basically my mother was complimenting the shit out of some lady that was dressed, you know, beautifully or whatever. And as a little kid, I was watching this and seeing the woman saying, wow, look, yeah, she looks incredible. I wonder what it's like to dress that way, you know, whatever. And then, but really what it was that I thought, if I was dressed that way, will my mother talk to me like that?
Interesting.
And boom, your life is toast.
Interesting.
Just that.
Now, you know, I don't want to like dead name you or anything like that, but I mean, the old you, very masculine man, correct? If I remember correctly from our conversation, you were a hockey player, right? You grew up in Boston. So, you know, was that all a mask for who you felt like you really were inside, or do you think that there's a duality to you? Are you both people at the same time? Has one taken over as you've gotten older? Help us that aren't very familiar with this kind of understand.
Yeah, there's a duality. Because what I realized is that I was playing golf as well and hockey, but at this point, I realized that I played those sports to connect with people. So like I have golf clubs that I don't even look at them or consider playing because the people that I played with no longer are, you know, I kind of had to do like a complete reboot, reset. So when you spend your time like you're 8 years old or 12 or you're in high school and you see the girls dressed a certain way and you're like, it's just this thing in you that you're like, oh, like I wish I could experience, like I'm attracted to her and I want to experience what it's like to be in this thing.
So you are heterosexual then in that regard.
Completely. Yeah. Huh. So yeah, so it's crazy. It's just you have this desire to emulate this, and then you know you don't want to be like a guy, like you want it to work. You know, like I wouldn't do if I didn't look right in this, I wouldn't be doing it. You know what I mean? I just managed to get it to look to where I was comfortable with it, so I did it. But yeah, if you do this, it's just it's definitely a duality. I get to be a woman, and then when you let yourself stop thinking I have to act guy, and you finally like learn to let go little by little, and then you're out this way. It's like I get to experience womanhood to an extent. You know, how do you
feel now that you get to do what you've always wanted to do?
Oh, it's weird because you feel like I feel like I've wasted a lot of time caring what people think. Reputation is jail. Anybody that has a reputation, you're flirting with jail because you're not doing things potentially. You know, if someone like me, I guess I would say that if you're worried about these friends in your life, but it's when you do something like this, it's not your enemies that come for you, it's your friends.
Interesting.
You know, it's the
that's
people.
Not a real friend if they're not going to support you.
Well, they're the ones that are going to come for you.
Through you wanting to be yourself. You know,
they don't care about you, yet they're going to be right there to give you that look.
So this
wrinkled.
is, I've just had this conversation with a good friend of mine in a different way about your following. Like people who cultivate a large following online, that becomes your fan base. But then if you deviate at all from what that fan base is used to you saying,
Right.
they'll turn on you.
Yeah.
Nobody comes at you harder than those people. And in that regard, it's not really a fan base, it's a prison.
Yeah.
Right? People don't want to hear what you have to say. It turns out they really just want their opinion said through your voice, right?
They want to look at you with this wrinkled forehead look, and suddenly I owe them an explanation for my entire life.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, is that it? I guess when you finally made that decision, was there some sort of like watershed moment? Did something happen where you were just like, "Fuck it, I can't live like this anymore"? Was there a breakup? Was there
I had
from a job? Or?
I had one last small group of friends that I worked with that there was like a wedding coming up, and I had to just get away from everything because I was breaking. I was completely breaking, and I had this one last like couple. They were getting married, and it was like I felt so ashamed. Like they kind of knew about it. They knew about it, but not to this extent.
What do you mean by that?
So my buddy and his fiance at the time, she was like all about this, and I had said it kind of like it's like a Halloween, but a little
quick
extra.
question. When you say this,
Dressing like Jessica.
okay,
Yeah. So because this didn't exist with any regularity until December 2021. This was like once every 3 years or never. You know, probably a total of 20 times over my whole life.
Start like as a kink with like a girl, like you'd put on her stuff or something like that?
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, typically like it would just be something you do in your house, and you know you dress from the waist down because if you got a gut, you know, whatever you want it to look.
Why did you look at me, Jessica?
I was looking at the guy outside behind you.
This is nonsense.
How did you know that Jessica was the identity that you were moving towards?
Oh, I didn't. So when you say a moment, basically the moment was I had to just cut everybody emotionally out of my life. I had to say, you're just gone. It doesn't matter anymore. Like I have to save myself because I was just done. I didn't want to be.
Were you suicidal?
Yeah, a couple times. So I didn't want to, like, it was just over. And these people, I felt such shame. Just, you become your own bully. You know, you bully yourself. Your parents bully you enough and then you just take over. So the self-talk and everything. So, but that moment I said, I can't do the wedding. I can't worry about it. I got to just shut down. And then like 15 seconds later, it was like, well, you don't have any people in your life anymore that are going to come for you. Just do it. And then literally like breadcrumbs, you know, follow the breadcrumbs in life. This life just started giving in avalanches and tidal waves.
Yeah. And you were in Boston and Northeast at that time?
No, down here. I've been down here.
Really?
Yeah, I've been down here a while. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you introduce this into your everyday life? Did you just walk into the office one day and just like, that would be hilarious, really. I mean, if you're going to do it, just walk in and then, have that one coworker be like, so did you change your hair? Or,
Have you lost weight?
Yeah. So something's different about you, Bob. I don't know what it is, but yeah.
I was working from home, so I went out this one night to a drag club that me and my ex used to go to in like 2016. And when I was like, I don't know a soul. I started December 18th, 2021, aside from my ex who, like, she's forever. But other than that, nobody. I didn't know a soul. I had cut all ties with everything. And I just asked, I asked the universe, whatever, God. I said, just if I could have one friend, I don't know. I announced this is the social life. That's it. Social life, going out and until I figure it out. And I went out that night, met a few people. And then within a week I had met like 40, 50 people in that drag environment. They're so just cool and loving. And it was everything I needed for like 2.5 months until I came out and saw you that night. So it was just an incredible environment to just heal and be around people that aren't just judgy.
So I think a good part of our society in this moment is that people are very aware and they want to be empathetic. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of public shame about anybody who isn't open-minded, as opposed to, the very repressive 40s, 50s, 60s. Now, I think that there's a negative side of that as well, because I think that there are people that are vulnerable and are maybe outcast in some way, especially younger people, who see the adulation that community can give somebody. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then they say, well, I need that love too. Yeah. Maybe I'm trans, maybe I'm drag. Right. And they're not.
Right.
And I think that's something that we need to be aware of as well. So,
Well, you just nailed it. Most people, like that it's like there is no spoon. This doesn't exist. I wanted love. This show doesn't exist. You guys want to feel successful.
money, from
yeah.
rubiesflowerswi.com. Go to fucking rubiesflowerswi.com
And give us money.
give us money, please.
Yeah, so it's I don't know. It's love. We're born for love. When someone meets someone for the first time, you're in a better mood than if you win money or get a job. Like love is the whole thing. That's why we're here.
So one of Mickey's big things is the return to nature. People that have been listening to our podcast since the beginning. I mean, he's kind of a naturalist, and we kind of break down. Both of us are in agreement that there's a certain loss of the good things about our primal nature in this environment, whether it's tech or whether it's comfort or whatever. And really, so much of what everybody's ever done, so much of our culture, what's progressed us is pussy. Like doing something that's like, hey, what's up, baby? You like this big old house I bought? Yeah, I did that. Why don't you come over here? But it really is. And that's what it comes down to, that idea of belonging and love. And, if this right here, 30, like you're right, 30, 40 years ago would have been very difficult.
Oh, my God.
Do you think that it would have manifested itself in a different expression, or do you think this is who you've always been?
If you take away the abuse, this never happens. I don't think.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't think, because it was very sudden. I never felt, even then, like, I never felt womanly. Like in my 20s, I was going to therapists and trying hypnosis and like even like almost like self-shock therapy, like to just get this stupid thing out of me that it's like, what happens is when you get low. When you get low, this shows up and says, it's like comforting and you think about it, but you're like, I can't be in a normal relationship because of this. And it's like, I'm sick of having this thing that you just fantasize for no reason because it's equated with your mother's non-existent, her inability to love, and not her fault. But you're just like this emptiness. And so this just overpowers you. You're like, I got to get rid of this stupid thing. So yeah, I was never like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm a woman, but I just need to get the.
Did you discover the causation from abuse, like through like a psychiatrist or anything like that, or is this kind of self found?
This was all self. The Dr. Joe Dispenza stuff. He's literally changed the entire psychology with how you fight your body, not your brain. So you're not trying to understand your thoughts. You're trying to dial down your emotional fears that pump your body. You know what I mean? So that's the problem, is that your body will just flood itself with anxiety, and we think, oh my God, I'm clairvoyant. Oh my God, I forgot to turn the stove off, whatever. No, your body just is used to having anxiety. You get it 5 bursts a day in traffic, coming into the office, all that stuff. Your boss is mad. So you're on adrenaline all day, and now it's Sunday, and you're sitting around, and all of a sudden, you're like, oh, I must have forgot to send an email.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's like our, like that, there's a reason for that. Like that's because like back in the day,
dopamine drips and shit.
Well, also like the reason why we still get these anxieties is like there used to be a time when we'd have to be worried about another tribe coming in and like fucking us up, or like a tiger out, or you know what I mean, some sort of a pack of wolves. And you need that anxiety to kind of, and that adrenaline to kind of do. But now we're just driving cars and behind computers, but still getting the same. Anxiety.
Anxiety is to protect the human body.
Well, that's a great point. I've heard Dr. Brett Weinstein talk about that on his evolutionary biology with the Dark Horse, where he's like, it's odd that we think of a kid who's afraid of the dark as it being weak. Like it's a weakness. Like, oh, your kid's afraid of the dark. He wants to sleep with you at night. Like
he's a smart kid.
He's like every kid is afraid of the dark at one level or another, because every kid who wasn't afraid of the dark, their genetics probably didn't move forward. They got eaten by a puma.
Monsters under the bed. Like kids talk about. That's a wild animal.
100%. 100%. So you went on this personal journey. You're processing pain. You're processing mental health, and you're coming to this place where you're saying, okay, this is who I am, and this is where I feel comfortable. Now, you talked about, your friends are your enemies or can be your enemies. The gay and trans community, especially out in LA, we're going to be very mad at you for saying that, because in their mind, you're born this way and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing to apologize for. And they hate when people track it back to trauma.
Really?
Yeah, they think of that as stigmatizing it. And again, it would be the trans community that came at you and said, no, you're full of shit. You're blaming somebody for
that?
Oh, I know, because I started thinking about what I was going to say here, and I started reading, some things about the trans, people that are struggling and all that. And yeah, look, there are trans people that like they're running a different race than I am. You know what I mean? Because it was costumed to me as a way to, connect with myself. But I am this way for me is like pure love. Like my body it's like hardwired to like love myself in just a ton of different ways, probably more than we have time for. But so this is pure just love and joy that I feel. And yeah, I mean, I had a very angry mother figure and a submissive father figure. So I've read things where it says, if you have strong mother, weak father, that you can be mentally open to that, where women are more powerful than men. Best I could tell, like I said, was just that I wanted my mother to talk to me like I was beautiful, and that's where it starts. So, I mean, I don't know as far as all that, like people will want to, a lot of people want to label you. They have to put you in a box.
Especially today. Everybody needs to know where everybody
there has to be a box.
At all times,
yeah, I don't get to just be like, I don't know. In a year or two, I could be trans. Who knows? You know what I mean? I'm still figuring. I just literally got over the most debilitating emotional childhood, and my sister's still stuck there. But it was, I mean, I've journaled it. It was just bad. I had learned helplessness, deep levels of shame, and I'm supposed to suffer, and you're rewarded for suffering as a kid. So you have all these things that they don't make sense.
What do you mean by you're rewarded for suffering as a kid?
Oh, like, your parents will punish you, and then you get rewarded after because they feel bad, usually because the punishment never matched the crime. So we're being playful at our grandmother's house or something, and all of a sudden you kids get upstairs because they're trying to sleep in. Gotcha. And so all of a sudden they call, you kids sit in that corner and don't make a sound. And next thing you know, we're sitting in a corner with nothing, in just an old room, no phones or anything for 3 hours.
Irish Catholic?
Yeah.
Irish Catholic.
So they wake up and you hear them going, shit. Oh, they're still over there. We're both like, oh, you're such good kids. You're the best kids. And now mom, who doesn't treat us with love ever, is giving us love.
What do you think the root of the shame came from? Was it like other people, what you imagined other people's perceptions?
Yes, because I never gave anybody a chance. Like, look, the friends that I had were all athletes, and when they're talking shit about people for just general crap, and you're with this, you're always gauging what's happening out there. So, because if someone's all of a sudden like my friend, like I told you, my friend's wife that I told you that I, they were the last two for the wedding. I was supposed to see them, but she was all about it. And I heard her say like, "Oh my God, I love when guys do that." And I was like, I mean, my entire soul was sucked in her direction. So, yeah, I think that, with oh shit, I lost my train of thought.
Take your time. It's all right.
So when you're practicing, you were talking meditation and stuff, right?
Yeah,
you were talking about the wedding and your friend's wife who said that she loved that.
Yeah, you were asking something. I'm just trying to, because it was like, about like,
it was about perception.
about my friends. Yeah, so my friends. Sorry about that. So yeah, my friends, I was the one that made them bullies. I would be the one walking down the street downtown this way and thinking, oh my God, it's coming. I'm the one replaying my mother. So the reason that I say they're the problem, or that I would say that, is that when they're making fun of people for like drinking the wrong type of water or whatever, I'm not going to trust these people. I mean, it was typically a pretty
hockey players. You guys are the.
It was a narcissistic. Yeah, it's a bully, narcissistic environment.
But the best way to get
no way I'm bringing this up.
But the best way to get ahead of that is to beat them at their own game too. In my estimation, like you just own who you are, get out on the ice and body check somebody and be like, "Hey, you just got fucking hit by a chick, you little faggot." Like you can
kiss them on the helmet.
Yeah, you can have a lot of big fucking hit, slap shot from the blue line and be like, "Now you left animals." I mean, you gotta.
I just got to that point where I can do that.
In some respect, this whole life is a pressure test. Mick's talking about the sun, pressure burst pipes. Everything we do every day, the universe is trying to kill us in some regards.
Yeah.
And this idea of safe spaces, I think so many people have an adverse immediate reaction to the idea of a safe space or empathy, is because, hey, fucking the world's tough, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Like, it's tough. Like, I want you to be stronger, not because I don't like you or I don't care about you or I'm a bigot, but because, fuck, man, we got to live in this world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you're an American with me. I need you to stand side by side. We're running this race together. Now, he said, you know, we may be running the race differently, but we're running the same race. And I think it's hard for us to sometimes, and I don't want to speak for you guys. If you disagree with me, chime in. But I do think it does take a second to take that step back and be like, all right, it doesn't really have an effect on like you on a macro level, you know, kind of understand what's going through. But at the same time, I don't want people to be shamed for that feeling either.
Right.
You know, it's this like this idea, and maybe it's the Instagram culture. We all have to have the right reaction at the right time.
Right.
But reactions are momentary.
Yes.
Like, you know, it's like when people get mad at a joke, I'll tell a joke, someone will laugh. And then you can see somebody else in the crowd look at that person laughing like, how could you laugh at that? Well, because I made them laugh. Right. It's involuntary. Right. You can't get mad at reactions.
Right.
And I think as a society, we're being judged on our initial reaction, and it's something that you really can't control. And then the intellectual aspect comes in afterwards, perhaps, right? But I think conversations like this also help to maybe, you know, move people in directions where they hadn't considered before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it seemed like you were kind of a prisoner of your perceived other people's perceptions.
Oh,
What
I
you
got
assumed
abused,
they would-
and then I created my own prison to protect me from the other
Right,
person.
because you didn't want to be bullied, you didn't want to be laughed at, you didn't want, but you didn't even necessarily try at first, right, to be your true self. Because you were like, I'm not even.
Like the internal in the house bullying or the beatings was like just no way. Like the verbal and the physical, it's just like just don't.
So tell me what you think about this, because I think like a lot of people are prisoners of other people's perceptions. People care about what other people think.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
A lot.
That was me my whole life. That was me my whole life.
Too much. We all do, because I think in a way at some point we're all judgmental ourselves of other people. Like it's easy to be like, oh, if I was doing that person's life, I'd do it way better. Like it's easy to be someone else's. But one thing I like to think about is so like if I take my mother, my father, my sister, like three people who like know me the best, each one of their perceptions is going to be slightly different of me than each other.
Right.
Gerard's, Bill's, yours, any of my friends, all their perceptions are going to be different. Right? They're going to each have their own individual one.
Right.
So really, what the fuck do I care about someone else's perception? What only matters is what I feel to myself. You know what I mean? If I know I'm living, you know, virtuous and in a way that I'm proud of. You know what I mean? Like living my truth.
Most people would kill to be there.
It took time and shit. Like I used to be judgmental. I remember my dad telling me, like when I was young, like being like not to be judgmental. You know what I mean? And like he said, like he was like he's like, yeah, I used to be judgmental. I stopped being judgmental, and I like in my 20s, I started like kind of figuring that out and trying to understand like each person's got their own life, their own story, their own attributes, positive, deficits. You know, each person is just doing their own thing. But I think it's very freeing to not, you know, worry about what do I care? You know what I mean? Everyone's going to be different anyway.
You know why? Because we're conditioned to care, and this idea of human freedom is a very, very new thing. You used to have to wear what the aristocrats told you to wear. You had to fit in, otherwise you wouldn't be at court. We're very tribal. We're tribal people, and there's this idea, unfortunately, especially with women, and that's a very
But the only thing that can make you truly special is yourself. Is being you. Is being truly you to your core. Because there's only one of you. It's easy for if you want to act like someone you admire.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You could act like them, but it's like it kind of stinks. Like you smell the bullshit. You know what I mean? You're not your true self. It's inauthentic.
When you hate your guts, which I did for most of my life.
Hated your own.
Yeah. Okay. It's just what you're saying is just like, look, I was like during this process with the Dr. Joe stuff where you're just trying to corner like a mouse in a room. You're just trying to corner it because you just can't find it. But when you hate yourself, people say, these Nobel Peace Prize winners will tell you to get over it. Right. Oh, thank you. But they'll all tell you, you just got to fix that. And, it's just like dissociative, right? They're not comfortable talking about your emotions. So they're just going to tell you how to fix something by saying, change your shirt.
Sure.
But yeah, to be in this place, like it's just when you are just full of rage towards outside of you. And then that rage because of what that caused in you. And then you're mad at yourself. And it's just this giant mess. And that's what I've literally been since December, just every single day, just hammering myself to try to find that.
Were you diagnosed as depressed, manic depressed?
Oh, I didn't have extra to go to therapy.
Yeah,
so
no,
it was all self.
Yeah.
Which is, there are moments where it's like, I don't know, you know, they if you don't have money, these guys aren't cheap. And
Nope.
So were you listening to like his meditations, or were you reading his books? Like,
So-
what were you doing? What was the process you went through with the Joe Dispenza?
he has a book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. That started it. And then I bought
Breaking the habit of being
yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I bought he has these videos called The Formula, which basically help you learn to do his meditations because they're difficult.
Yeah, he's always talking about like feel the space around you in space.
In space. Yeah. So you basically kind of want to make yourself almost like a hologram of yourself. Like you want to become like a plasma. Like if you'd see in a movie and they have an invisible man and you just see like the plasma, you want to make yourself just space. You don't have a body, a gender, a name, a job. You know, you don't have any personality. You literally just become your consciousness and your heart, and that's it. So when he's saying like think about the space between your shoulders in space. Think about, whatever. But ultimately, you're just getting to a place of pure blackness. And I even had a hard time going there because black was scary. So in the beginning, it was like I would kind of go halfway there.
Sounds racist, Jess.
But yeah, I mean,
She's from Boston. Give her a break.
Had to break the tension. Jesus.
but yeah, the meditations are very difficult. So I bought, it was like an online set of videos, and that was it. There was no social life. There's no Netflix series. There's no nothing. It was like, fix this crap and then figure it out.
You had to fix her who was going to fix you.
Yeah.
Aubrey, this is let's get to the comments here. We missed our half hour there, but that was very interesting. What do we got in the comments there?
We have a few questions.
Well, please fucking don't.
And the question is, have you ever gone back to those old friends you mentioned, or did you cut them out completely?
I cut them out.
I guess the question is, would you
Is he breaking up?
on something back then, like?
Aubrey,
Aubrey, you're breaking up a
Aubrey's
little bit,
from Israel, so you're going to have to forgive him. Aubrey, what the fuck, bro?
He's not in Israel.
Yeah, what? He might be. We don't know where he is.
No, he's in like Oregon or Oregon. That state I'm the least confident in saying.
Oregon?
Oregon?
If you're from Oregon, you say Oregon. Like you like to eat organs.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think the Oregon Trail threw me off.
Yeah, that's how we say it. Yeah, it's like when people like say like I'm flying out of Newark.
Yeah,
So
it's Newark.
The friends that there was one
You
that
understood his question?
Yeah,
For the most
so
part?
one of the friends was was a best friend, and where I also had abandonment issues, so I wasn't realizing that I was hanging on to people that I shouldn't be. So it was like one friend, you cut him out, and with him, 3 or 4 are attached to that, and it goes away. And then another one, cut him out. Interestingly enough, one friend from that world just hit me up like 3 days ago and said, dude, hit me up. He's like, I don't care about personal preferences, which means they know. I had no idea. I wouldn't have been able to handle if they knew, So
really?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Even now?
Yeah. Oh, no, now I can, but like upwards until 4 months ago, I'd have been like, because you just like, you start imagining what they're thinking and you start just beating the shit out of yourself.
Why do you think they reached out now?
Well, he just reached out. I have no idea. I told him I'd meet him for beer. He said, like, I don't mind personal preferences.
Yeah.
So, of course, I take that as like, it's either my wallpaper on my phone or my ringtone or it's this.
How fucked is it going to be? He's been closeted gay his whole life. He's like, now I finally get to hit on you. And he's like, and you're going to be like, bro, I like chicks. What the fuck?
There are at least, the study is like 3 out of every 10 guys has some sort of towards women's clothing, towards a high heel, like whatever.
That's why we had Bill sit in on this one.
Right. Right.
But really, like it's like 3 out of 10. I go out downtown, straight people, like I get hit on, men, women, like.
Okay, but let's
no gay.
Let's have
I don't get hit on by gay.
Let's have delineation here because there's sometimes I wear a lot of pink. Women's clothing is just flat out better. Look at Russell Brand; he looks fucking great. Scoop neck looks fantastic. Like that doesn't. My mom was great to me growing up. I just think they have better fashion. Like what the fuck? I would want to wear a boa. I wish it was but I'm not a pro wrestler, so I can't really pull it off. Right? I mean,
I don't agree.
You don't
See
agree?
the way I dress, I kind
of like a chick. You look like you definitely have like I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. The jorts. I don't know.
The jorts?
Not today.
Yeah.
Bad example. I'm the one wearing short shorts today. You know what? Maybe I'm one of the 3 out of 10. I'm all right with it.
Okay.
I like hemp. Is hemp something women wear?
Whatever, dude.
I
haven't heard of that.
Linen. Big fan of linen.
Linen's nice.
Linen's
I
nice.
feel like it seems like
the makeup I couldn't do. This is
it seems like a lot to me.
Yeah.
Like to put high heels seems like
Painful.
Like it looks painful. Like it seems like there's a lot to be doing. I could just throw a shirt on, throw some shorts on. I'm
Right.
It
good.
helps to play hockey.
really.
Oh, on them skates
I
all
bet.
the time.
I bet. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Makes the walk easy.
Yeah. But I got to tell you, it's just, I like, one of the things I like most about being a man is it takes me 5 minutes to get ready.
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah.
Just-
but once I'm out, like this process, there are days where you're like, I don't want to start this at all. But once you go through it, once I'm out, I want to be this.
Okay.
Yeah. 100%. If I could snap my fingers, it's this.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Dude, when you look down, like for someone like me and you just look at what you're wearing and it's just brighter. It's I don't know. Like I like how I look, and I was starting to really just my male self not,
With your male self, what type of fashion did you have? Were you very conservative in
Yeah,
the way that you
typical.
dressed? Were you like suits and ties and
no,
stuff?
just
Or
t-shirt, jeans.
T-shirts, jeans.
Backwards hat.
so you weren't doing like the Elton John thing or anything like that? Like you weren't like fucking dipping your toes in the water and stuff?
I would have been if I had a little more confidence. I was the type like when you're young in the 80s where you have like the red Adidas shorts with the white and then the red Adidas t-shirt with the white and then the socks. Like, I
Solid
wanted like
look.
I wanted
Solid
everything.
look,
I wanted everything to match.
Yeah, that's a solid look, though.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as looks go, that's pretty iconic. You got the whole like white DMC thing going on there. Yeah,
Yeah.
You have like the little snap pants too.
That was like 83, probably 84 or something like that.
Nice, solid. Yeah, the '90s were great as far as fashion's concerned. By the way, too, I'm happy to see them kind of come back a little bit. Big fan of the black with the neon and
Coming back?
I think so. I'm also not great at fashion, so I don't know.
It's a funny shirt you got on.
Yeah,
The Caucasians.
yeah.
I still haven't
You
seen
thought that was an Indian shirt the whole time?
Yeah. Holy shit.
I bought this.
I just want to say, unrelated to that, we have had several comments about G's shirt today. People on the chat think it's very good. They like
That's
it.
great.
It's somebody actually bought this for me as a rib. They were like, "Here you go. Your conservative ass won't like this," and I was like, "This is the best shirt I've ever got."
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I'm a Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan. Like, you think I give a shit about a mascot?
Yeah.
What the fuck you talking about? I love it. Thanks, man. Green eyes like my mom. Thank you, person that sent this to me. What else do we have in the comments, Omri? Real quick before we do a Rudy's flowers.
A Rudy's read.
All right. We have two questions. One of them is, at what age did you understand that is what you wanted? You talked about understanding that there's like a desire from a young age, but when did you figure out that that's what you wanted? And then the second question is, what was the hardest part and why was it learning how to walk in heels?
The hardest part is the makeup, like the presentation. That to get to where when you are insecure, you get so critical of yourself that you have to be like, you put kind of unrealistic pressure on yourself. So there was that, like learning makeup and face. And there were definitely times I wouldn't go out unless I looked, whatever I thought was perfect. As far as age, it's just tough because I who knows at age 5 or 6, I would have just loved. I mean, there's a possibility that if my parents like, look, this is your house and you dress however you want here, it might have soothed out. You know what I mean? So
okay, interesting.
So as far as to answer the question more specifically, I would say probably when I was like in my probably like 5 or 6 years ago. Probably like 6 years ago.
What was
like
the very
early
first time?
40s?
Do you remember the very first time? Do you remember it vividly? You decided
Actually
you were gonna
going
go?
out, I had a girlfriend.
Full Jessica?
Yeah, I had a girlfriend, and she was cool about it.
So, but like, did you talk to her about it?
No, never. It was just being playful, silly. Like, you can't let them know that this is, like, you're
Sure.
like, oh my God, this is my entire life's fantasy to be this.
You must have looked forward to Halloween like fucking every year. Like, I cannot wait to be sexy nurse on Halloween, man. This is
Unless you have buddies that are like, so we're going to see you at the Halloween party. You're like, I got to go as Bud Lightyear or some shit. You know what I mean? So,
really?
So some Halloweens you lose and you're just like angry because you see some guy, the way you want to be, and you're like, yeah, that's great. That's great.
good for you.
Great.
Good for you.
Yeah.
What do you think was the very first time that you ever let Jessica out the bag? What do you think?
Like dressing?
Yeah.
Probably in 2009 or 10. It was a Halloween. And I went like the whole way.
What was that like?
Better was I went to Scarlett's in like 2012 or 13.
What's that?
That was one of the.
It's a strip club, Mick. It's a strip club. For people that don't know, like Mickey,
It's a florist. Yeah. So
you seriously don't know? Or you just try?
Did you know?
Oh, where is it?
Is
you
it
know
down
what?
here?
I don't know what it is either. I have no idea.
2009 was a good one, but 2012 was like a real like where I really put effort into it. But to be at Scarlett's this way was one of the hottest. To this day, it's still probably the hottest. That was probably the hottest night of my life.
Really?
To have the girls come up to you and like there was two girls, an Asian one and a black girl, and they both just took to me and took me in, and it was like
Nice.
just the hands on you, and oh my god, it was incredible.
Nothing better than a Scarlett's freebie.
Yeah, it was
from what I
was
hear.
deviant. It was taboo. It wasn't real, but it was like that. Every time I would go out this way, it was like the friggin' Super Bowl. Why am I not going out? You know, like you have to stop kind of fighting yourself, and that was where I wasn't seeing how I was, you know, seeing my own life. You think, oh my god, every time I go out as Jessica, I'm like, it's the greatest night of my life, and then. Yeah, I guess I'll go back to the other way.
But isn't that like kind of because you're not doing it all the time? Like now that you're doing it all the time, is it the Super Bowl every day?
Has it lost its allure?
No, it's just I had to evolve. I had to steal this away from my 5-year-old self and not have it be taboo. So you have to go from dopamine to oxytocin and endorphins, and that's what I had to do. So once I learned to start loving myself and all that stuff, now all of a sudden it's not the clothes, it's the how far I can push myself, just becoming. I don't know. Like it's this unknown. Every day is this. I have no idea what's going to happen when I walk back to my car. Someone's going to walk by and say, you know, nice dress. Someone's going to say, what the hell is that? I don't know.
Yeah,
you know?
if you keep hitting the camera and making me fucking out of frame, you're not going to be able to walk to the car. I'm going to break your fucking legs. Oh. But it's okay.
Pain.
If we do break your legs, we can send you some Ruby's Flowers, WI.com. Ruby's Flowers is a hemp company, but unlike a lot of hemp companies, they say a high THC hemp flower that gets you high, just like a certain funny smelling plant.
THCA.
Their flower has been bred to have high THC, which is converted into Delta 9 THC when smoked, allowing their customers to enjoy a federally legal high from smoking naturally grown legal hemp. No sprays or additives are applied.
High THC. Let's try that again. High THC. Hemp flower is the solution for smokers who don't live in a legal state or are simply just tired of getting ripped off by large marijuana monopolies and excessive government taxes.
Yeah, fuck the government.
Become ungovernable.
That a boy.
That's Gerard's favorite. Ruby's Flowers gives you the freedom to get high by smoking the natural cannabis plant the way you want, legally and for an affordable price. Right now, you can get eighths of high THCA flower like Gorilla Glue and Granddaddy Perp sent to your mailbox for $35 on their website or only $25 on their Patreon with taxes.
Only
and shipping
$25 for perp?
With taxes and shipping included.
That's wild. You should visit Ruby'sFlowersWI.com. That's RUBYSFLOWERSWI.com to check out their high THC hemp flower and other THC products. You can find a link to their Patreon on the website where you can subscribe for high quality THC products at unheard of prices. Ruby's Flowers will not only show up on the Patreon search as their bar products are 18 and older, so make sure you go into the Patreon and you look for Ruby'sFlowersWI.com by name. High THC hemp flower is legal under the 2018 Farm Bill because it contains less than 3.3% Delta 9 THC. However, laws are always changing, so please read up on local and state laws before purchasing. Please read the entire product description online. God, thank you for the money. Don't make us read that again. Jesus Christ. What the fuck? Can we get that down to 90 seconds, for crying out loud?
And if anyone wants us to like read something of them, if you come up with the money, we'll read it.
Yeah,
right?
I do like Ruby's edibles. Thank you, Ruby's. You're fantastic.
Yeah, everybody seems to really love them.
They love Ruby's Flowers, WI.com, and you will too. So you're halfway done with your first pod. How's it going so far,
awesome.
Jessica? You doing good?
Yeah.
Would it take a little? Were you feeling a little nervous coming in here today? What were you thinking?
I was surprisingly not. Like I said, I took kind of ownership of my life probably in the last month.
Phenomenal for you.
Yeah,
good for you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you start just learning how to think. That's the tough thing now is like I have no idea who I am because everything I've ever wanted has been based on
Cool.
So that's
Kind of like
the next.
programming and what you assumed was like.
Yeah, every
right
guy's
and
just like
allowed
make
to
money,
be.
get my stomach flat, take strokes off my golf game. Like most people's New Year's resolutions are basic.
Sure.
So
Right.
yeah, I'm
Play
just,
more pickleball.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm just trying to figure it out.
What are your resolutions or intentions look like now?
Not going to shit up a school. Number one.
Oh my God.
What? I thought we were being positive here.
I guess we are. That isn't really positive.
Are you positive you're not going to shit up a school?
So
That's not a yes.
obviously.
All right, cool. Then we're good.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, it's funny because it's funny how it's trans, but we have a people problem, not a trans.
Amen. What are your thoughts on guns?
I don't touch them. I don't, what I don't. God, I don't know. Like, look, out in the Midwest, yeah, I'd want one. Here, I think they get you in trouble. I think
In Florida?
you look at it. Look, you look at enough athletes that are out and they post a picture to Instagram of they have a gun on them and then they delete it. Next thing you know, they lose. I think we have a lot of.
Plaxico Burress ruined the 2008 New York Giants season over that.
Yeah,
Shot
I don't know.
himself in the leg.
I don't really. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I'm not there with guns. I don't know.
I like them. Big fan of guns.
See, I feel like if I could snap my fingers and all the guns be gone, I'd do that.
Yeah.
But since there are guns, since bad people can have guns, good guys need guns.
That would be a terrible thing if you snapped your fingers and all the guns would be gone.
Why?
Do you think guns are bad or good?
You would have a big advantage.
That's the whole thing, of course, right? We could go back to medieval times when there were no guns and there's still warlords because you'd fucking kick the shit out of everybody.
No, but I'm a good guy. But I'm a good guy.
The only warlord ever who thought he was a good guy. Only dictator that ever thought he was noble.
How do you know you're a good guy?
I just know. I know. I'd be protecting people.
Listen, it is an unpopular opinion, especially in the New York comedy scene, to say this. It might get you kicked out of certain clubs for life, but guns are the only reason people have the ability to have the voice that they have today. If you're a 5'5", 130-pound man, woman, or anything in between, the reason why you have a voice is because of guns. If this was 400 years ago, somebody would just bop you over the head, and that would be the end of it. They would see that you had more shit than them and be like, you know what? That little motherfucker's got more shit than me, and I don't like it. And they would physically assault you, take your shit, imprison your children, maybe your wife too if she was attractive or not.
I would save them.
And then Mickey would come in on his horse named Jiu-Jitsu
right.
and save you. Yeah.
Do you think everyone should have guns?
No, I don't think everybody should have guns, but I also... It's not for me to say who
Gerard
should
thinks
and
babies
who
should
shouldn't.
have guns.
How old?
It's a tool. Do you think everybody should have hammers?
Yes.
Do you think everybody should have cars? Do you think, I think that, look, the idea that the gun is what's inherently bad, when you said it before, and I'm obviously fucking with you, thanks for not, taking it too seriously. I figured you were still, kind of a dude, yeah. So the idea of who has the guns and who doesn't, that's a problem, for sure. Okay, but the idea of the gun, what drives me out of my mind about this more than anything else is the government just locked you people the fuck down for 2 fucking years. They just took all your shit. They took everything from you. They took your dignity. They took your freedom. They took the fucking US dollar and fucking tanked it while they bankrupted you. And you're like, the government's fine. Take the guns. They should be the only one to have them. They're good guys. What are you, fucking nuts? What are you, at any time in history that you needed a gun, it's fucking now. And when the president of the United States was like, oh, what are you going to take over America? You need an F-15 to do that, champ. Oh, yeah? Tell that to the Taliban, champ. Fucking, they did pretty good for 20 fucking years with AK-47s. Stop it. Fuck out of here. Anyway, that's my diatribe for the day. Back to you. Do you own a gun?
No.
Do you feel like you should?
You know what? I've had a couple of times, like if you afraid someone's going to bust into your place or something like that.
Yeah.
I would want to have that then.
But you're also what are you, 6'3"?
Yeah, 6'2".
Yeah. So, I mean,
Yeah, I've never really.
somebody around here needs a gun.
Yeah, I've never actually coveted. I've never really wanted one. But.
Yeah, you do think that there would be more wide. That's the thing too. They're people are like, oh, how are you going to have a gun? South Florida, it's got meth heads. It's got fucking everyone's on coke 24/7, drinking nonstop. And
Fair enough.
It's not like guns are being shot off in the air every day like it's a fucking Mexican Western or something like that. Like everybody, I think what happens is I trust my neighbor more than other people trust their neighbor. Like I have faith in my neighbors. Like, but also I'm fucking a little bit of a lunatic. I don't think there should be speed limits either. So, I think they're completely arbitrary. I think me driving at 75 is much safer than my grandma driving at 35. So, but neither here nor there. You can listen to Part of the Problem with Dave Smith to hear more about the libertarian worldview.
Yeah.
I can see your eyes glazing.
There's some crazy drivers down here. They would go 150.
They do go 150.
Yeah, right.
So that's kind of the point. So when people go nuts about guns, we got to do something like we need more guns laws. I'm like, yeah, maybe we should start by making murder illegal. Like, is murder illegal? It is. Oh, but they're murdering people? Oh, maybe more laws will stop them from murdering people. Like, what the fuck? It's so stupid to me. Maybe we should just cut people's fucking hands off.
Jess, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think of the public drag shows? Like the ones like that are like at like
I think they're fun.
You think they're fun?
Yeah.
Like the ones like that are like at a brunch where they're just like
So-
out there on like the sidewalk.
I get that, like, if some of them get raunchy and they take their top, like, for something for kids to see. I do think drag has a responsibility to not scare. You know what I mean? Like,
Kind of like where it's like a strip club. It's not done on the sidewalk.
Yeah,
It's done
like,
inside.
I get they're going to be fierce and they're going to walk down the street and then walk up to a car and all that stuff, which is wonderful. But no, I think that we have to police ourselves as well. I'm all about drag shows. I don't really go to many, but like
I've never been to one, but I say, hey, if that's what you want to do, cool. I just maybe not.
It's to make
maybe
you
not
laugh.
like
It's
right next to
literally-
a child.
But
You know what
I think there needs to be a delineation made, though, right? Because those are two different things. If you go to a drag brunch and there's alcohol, you're 21 and over, you're an adult, you made a decision.
Yeah.
If you're bringing kids to a field trip to do a drag reading,
Right.
I think that there needs to be a delineation made.
Yeah.
Right? And,
Sure.
and there's also this idea, to me, this is the Kafka trap. This is like they're doing things intentionally antagonistic and then getting mad when people are antagonized. Right? Nobody, when we were growing up, Mrs. Doubtfire was one of the fucking best movies in the world, right? We watched Mrs. Doubtfire. What was the other one? La Cage aux Folles.
I remember Joanna Man.
Joanna Man. There was the other Robin Williams one. Fucking hilarious.
Birdcage.
Birdcage was great. And then Medea's. They've made. So I really
Big Mama's House.
Yeah, I push back at this idea that like society has an issue with drag. I think what society has an issue with is the fucking 10-inch dick 13 inches away from the child. Like, when you see the imagery of someone stripping.
Right.
Forget the fact that it's drag. Anybody.
Correct,
They're
right.
stripping in front of a child and there's a sign over the left shoulder that says it's not going to lick itself.
Right.
That's fucking a problem.
right.
And I don't really have any problem saying that, right? And I really don't think drag or otherwise, however you self-identify, I don't think any reasonable person would have a fucking problem being like, yeah, maybe a child shouldn't be able to look at you and know whether or not your asshole's bleached.
Right.
Like, that's the line, right? I mean, there still are some boundaries here. Or do I sound like some old prude when I say this shit? Or, like, if you're doing drag, time reading, there's still, like, work-appropriate clothing. There's
Sure.
still, like, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You can dress like Mrs. Doubtfire and read to kids. I don't understand the need to do this drag strip tease in front of children.
That I agree with. And some girls get over the top and they're trying to make a name for themselves and things like that. That we need to police ourselves. Because, I mean, also when this guy, whoever it was that's trying to make it illegal, that even like with BLM or with #MeToo, even if one person seems completely wrong, there has to be a way that both can win. You know what I mean? Whatever that means, there has to be a way that like we communicate instead of these guys just saying, oh, drag's illegal from now on. And then everyone starts attacking. And then it's like, he doesn't want to be corrected and told no. And we don't like being told no. I think that's like the big, you see this stuff, like a conversation is all it takes. But obviously the politician doesn't want conversation. If someone pissed you off that did drag, then call that person out. Don't cancel, the whole thing.
Wait, so someone's trying to make this illegal?
Yeah. It's actually been made
Tennessee.
illegal in Tennessee. But,
What specifically?
Yeah.
Drag period?
Public
drag. It's all gray area, but public drag.
Yeah, it's unenforceable.
Right.
Like what's drag and what's not. It's completely
It's a step in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And it's a PR stunt for the dude, right?
Yeah.
Probably it's an overreaction and an overcorrection, and then the overreaction to that overcorrection is after this tragic shooting there were many trans people that were saying that the bill bullied the shooter into doing it, and then so they were saying like he or she, however they identified, was a victim as well. And again, when you start getting into this type of shit, like you said, people are being purposely obtuse. They're not looking for any common ground. They're looking for something to be adversarial so that they can gain ground.
Yeah.
There's no doubt when we look at, you talk about Me Too, there's no way that you can look at some of the stuff from the 70s. What we talk about, what was the guy, Richard Dawson on Game Show Network, you watch it all the time.
Oh, where he'd like kiss.
Oh
like
my God, he'd just grab the women and just
he was
make
very
out
gropey.
with them. Anybody that could see that and be like, all right.
You ever seen that?
No.
Family Feud, right? Family Feud.
I don't know what it was, but
was
I
Family
know. I
Feud,
remember
right?
Family Guy made they did a spoof of it. Like he goes over and hugs the wife, and he's like, and right here, and right here. Like he's giving her like a breast exam. He's okay, great.
Dude, this guy would grab them and start making it and there was never a dude that was like, whoa, hey, what you doing here? It's my wife.
Maybe don't.
Yeah, he's like really pushing the fucking boundaries. Like he's like
very like Playboy Mansion swinger 70s. Like, hey, it's cool, babe. No, it's my fucking wife.
Yeah.
Like, it was definitely no fucking Irish Catholic dads from Boston going on Family Feud back then. That would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
Hey, you kissed her. Now you own her. She's yours from now on. Fucking get out. Like that's the rules. All right, so now you're coming into this at a very, tense time.
Yeah, the wrong time.
Well, yes and no, though, right?
I feel like it would probably be the best time in history to, you know what I mean? To be, and again, I don't know if is it be a drag, is it cross-dresser, is it trans?
So most people would say cross-dresser. So basically a cross-dresser is considered straight, like what I was, like hiding it, whatever. And then drag is gay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
Learned something today.
Yeah, because drag is more...
Now you finally learned something?
Yeah, like the drag queen is like walking up and down the street versus someone like me would be like, oh crap, there's the street. Oh my God, someone might drive by.
Gotcha.
So, the cross-dresser doesn't want his public life to find out because,
Gotcha.
who knows
It's secretive.
Yeah, who
more
knows what
secretive.
happens,
Okay.
Is this the best time? Because you could have worn a wig and tights and rouge in the 70s and been a founding father. So...
Oh, you mean the 1770s? When you say the 70s?
The 70s. The
You mean around the
1770s.
bicentennial?
I do. I mean the 18th century, the 1770s. There you go. You could have been from Boston too. Sam Adams. You might have been John Adams.
Yeah.
Although John Adams didn't wear the wig because he fucking hated the Brits. Wouldn't drink coffee, wouldn't drink tea, wouldn't wear the wig. This is why we still drink coffee in America, because those guys hated the Brits so much. Swear to God. Anyway.
Way out of my depth.
Yeah. Everybody's. That's okay.
Yeah,
it happens sometimes.
I bring the show to a halt. So anyway.
I like coffee too.
You like EDM? What type of music are you into?
Yeah, typical.
What do you mean
stuff
typical?
Like whatever. Like,
We don't stereotype around here.
Like
Jessica.
house-
Cross-dresser shit.
Cross-dresser music.
shit.
Yeah,
just whatever. Like,
Cher. I think Cher.
No, my God, nothing.
Oh, well then fuck typical. What the fuck?
Yeah,
no Cher?
No.
George Michael.
I know a lot of it. I like George Michael. So I spend most of my time, if I'm out socially within the gay community now. I kind of was going out downtown, and I had to kind of reel myself back in and get to just where I could heal. But yeah, I know a lot of like the Cher songs. There's one where like everybody claps twice. I don't know the name of it or something like that. But yeah, like I love it all.
Do you feel more accepted in the gay community than you do in like normal? What would you consider Los Solis or whatever?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. That's an easy one. But I'm now ready to kind of go be more public and not put judgment into other people's minds and like actually see what. Because I was going out to like Fat Cats area for like, 8-9 months. And I kind of, whatever. I didn't have any bad experiences. Like, none. I'd never had one time where someone was like, like in my face or something. Not once.
Interesting.
Not once. Talking 200 times. Fat Cats, like downtown.
Yeah.
Never had a problem.
Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah.
though?
Have you
Like
ever
where
been?
someone's
Every once
caused
in a
conflict?
while, someone will be at the end of the bar.
Right.
Oh my God, what the hell is that down there? Like it's probably 5 out of every.
But never really
100
to your
people.
face. Like
No,
they don't.
never,
They
no.
think they're being
they cower.
slick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all cower when it comes time to. Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's
Because I'll look at them and I'll say, look, I know I got hockey, So do you want to take a chance?
Let's go.
Of someone videotaping you.
That'd be great.
You know?
Yeah. But I mean, that's also, that you just explained right there. That's my libertarian worldview. We focus on the 3 out of 100 bad people, but there's 97 good people.
Right.
Regardless of where you are across this country, whether you're right-leaning, left-leaning, outside of the commies. I fucking hate the commies. But outside of Brooklyn and very small parts of L.A., most people are really good.
Yeah.
Good people. And you got 2 or 3 people, but unfortunately those 2 or 3 people go out of their way to ruin your fucking night.
Right.
And then you think about them for 2 fucking weeks and you don't go out again because of that one person.
Yep.
And that goes back to what Mickey was saying before. I mean, it's a hard thing to do, but yeah, you got to compartmentalize the fact that it's not me, it's that person's a dick.
Yeah.
And it's not you that they're a dick to. That person's a dick to everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody hates that person.
Yeah.
That person sucks.
It just sucks when you're in that place of self-hate. You have no defenses.
Mm-hmm. Mm. What have you done to get yourself into a place where you have an arsenal at your disposal?
The meditating, huge help. But really just self-awareness. That's the biggest thing I'm on now is just self-awareness. Realizing what you do, how you behave, how you react. You literally kind of deconstruct your whole sense of self. My whole personality got dismantled and I had to start over because mine was really bad. It was really bad.
Your personality?
So just my childhood, just really demolished. I mean, my sister is still.
Are your parents still alive?
Yeah.
Are they?
I haven't spoken to my father.
Are they aware of your?
No way. Because my mother's not real. She would just, worry about what people think. I wouldn't be telling a real person. I don't know who my mother is.
But that's interesting that you don't have any. You're not vindictive. You don't want vengeance. There's no hatred in your heart where you look at me now, ma.
4 months ago, yeah, I would have been bad. Yeah,
but you didn't do it.
That's when I know. Yeah, that's when I know now that I'm. It's a healed feeling when you just know. It's kind of like not having cancer anymore or something. Whatever. You just know. You feel different. You feel separate. It just doesn't exist.
Do you think you will try to reconnect with them?
So I talk to my mother still. I haven't spoken to my father in a couple of decades, but he just that was him. He just faded out. My mother, we speak, but it's more because she needs us, my sister and I, for supply.
What do you mean for supply?
For that she has shame and she doesn't realize that emotionally she's ashamed of us. That's what I diagnosed. And when I diagnosed that, everything started to make sense is how it flowed down to my sister and I. So she's emotionally ashamed of us. So every phone call, there's these abrasive disagreements or these things that are said or, oh, my friend's son, oh, he's so successful. Oh man, you should meet him. And then recently now with strength, I'll say, well, what was his name? Oh, I don't remember. Well, what does he do? I can't remember exactly. Well, what's he make? What makes this guy so successful?
Sure. So she's just talking shit to talk shit.
To keep me.
Yeah.
To keep me ashamed of myself.
To let you know you're not good enough.
To let me know I'm not good enough. And it's just these little things. So you hang up the phone and you're like, you goddamn, you want to
Why'd you keep answering the phone?
There's an addiction to that.
Still?
There's an addiction. No, not anymore. No. There's you can get addicted to a life you can't stand.
So in some way, the part of you that didn't feel good enough wanted the affirmation that you weren't good enough?
You just think, yeah, there's that. And there's also, maybe this is the phone call that she's good to me or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. So once I've healed from it, when she throws those at me now, instead of being skin in the game, now I can say, oh, so this guy sounds this guy was a real go-getter. How the guy you saying so successful? And then she'll be like, yeah. I can fuck with her now instead of, letting those words hurt. Now it's just mom, these guys, look at you hanging with these successful guys.
Wow.
So that was the shift.
For you.
How has she changed now that your behavior has changed?
Hasn't. She doesn't notice that she's a little easier going. And I think I was probably, with my tone when we would talk, I was probably attracting some of her negativity because her negativity has sort of subsided. So I was probably attracting it too, just in my tonality. But yeah, it was friggin' bad. It was bad.
Circling back to your meditation.
I was just going to ask what your meditation routine was.
First thing in the morning, while you're still practically half asleep, get yourself to sit up straight and just do it. It's the easiest time. And you just, it's about 15 minutes with him of getting yourself in space. And then once your brain is in theta and your body is essentially asleep, then you can overwrite programs easier because your body is suggestible. So the morning one is always the best. The night one, I'm probably 40% successful with, but the morning one is awesome. So basically, like he'll start saying, what habit do you want to get rid of? You know, whatever. It's pretty just basic suggestions. But yeah, once you're there and your body's asleep, it overwrites.
Now,
We got to get you guys to share these with our producers so we can put them on so other people can, reap the benefits as well.
So I'm interested in the concept of meditation, mostly because friends of mine that have been that are very religious swear by prayer, and I've just never been able to get there. And I've never believed when I was speaking that God was listening. I never believed I was talking to.
Well, that's your problem.
Was it a Catholic God or which God was it?
If you can't believe it, then it's probably nothing's gonna happen. Did I send that thing to you the other day?
Yeah.
Where it was Jim Carrey talking about.
Correct.
He's like, my teacher said if there's ever something I really wanted, this is Jim Carrey's teacher. She was like, I would pray for it and I would promise to do something to get it, right? Or to give something in exchange. And she's like, every time I did that, I got something. So then Jim Carrey goes, he's a kid, and he goes, he promises to do something, and he asks for a bike. He prays for a bike. Yeah. A couple weeks later, a bike's at his house. One of his friends entered him into a raffle, and he won that bike. But the thing is, you have to believe, and you have to do something as well. You know what I mean? It's not just like, give me money. Yeah, like it's like I'm gonna work really freaking hard, and I'm gonna and then you ask for money.
I'm kind of
you have
jealous
to give
of
something. You have to give to get.
No, I'm in many ways I'm jealous of it. I can't get there. I mean, one of the things that I watch you come out of yoga and see, you're at complete peace. You love the meditation at the end. You stay in there longer. As soon as the yoga's done,
I'm just tired.
And they start with that bullshit like you sit with yourself in the moment. You've earned this. I'm like, all right, peace. Fuck out of here, yogi. Fucking.
Why do you think you don't like it?
He's a cynical comedian. Go figure. He's like, they're like namaste. Yeah, and he's like, fuck you.
I'm not gonna stay here. So yeah, manifest. That's just prayer with fucking crystals. Like
one of the coolest things about meditating is when you're trying to quiet your brain, your body will fight you. Your body will fight you with it doesn't want to change. It doesn't want to give up. It's dopamine addictions, gambling, porn, whatever the hell you're into. It doesn't want to give that up. So your body will start to say, remember how, your mom treated you like this. Remember what your friends did. Remember that boss that was a dick. Like your body will fight you on the way in. And so what you can do is it's working. You just got to kind of take some notes and say, oh my God, like these are things that are blocking me from getting in.
Yeah. I know a lot of people really, they like, Russell Brand and Wim Hof and all that stuff. And they talk about that, about, being cognizant of what you're thinking about instead of meditating. Yeah. And until you can clear your mind, like the active participation of meditation. I think so much of meditation is just like clear your mind, and you're sitting here, you're like,
that's a misnomer.
Bored. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Isn't that that's
for sure.
It's like it's a myth. It's not true.
What's that?
That it's not like people say, they think it's supposed to be, I'm all right. Any thought that comes in, I'm supposed to throw it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's not. You're it's not being totally thoughtless.
What is meditation to you?
Me?
What is it?
I don't know. I don't think I'm the one to ask here, to be honest. I think they're deeper in the meditation game than me. But I know I can. I have been able to get to a place where that was cathartic. And I don't claim to be a good meditator by any means, but there's times where I could just get in touch with my breath, and that can sometimes it'll put me to sleep.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like if that's what's happening, I probably needed that sleep,
Do you feel the same way, Bill?
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of different types of meditation. I don't think it's one thing.
And you work a ton, and you work late nights. Do you feel like meditation helps you, maintain performance, or?
Yeah, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Talk about more. So we talked about it on last Monday. I'm more I'm a white belt in meditation. You're what, a purple belt or so?
Probably closer to purple. Yeah. I've been doing it for a decade.
Yeah.
What got you into meditation?
Yeah, talk about it.
Originally, it was the premise that my performance would be enhanced. I listened to the Tim Ferriss show, and he was like, some of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet are meditating, and it's helping them to achieve results. So it started with that, and then I realized it helped me to relax more and be more self-aware and better understand where things are going well and not well, helping me to heal my own body and be like, maybe I should chill out. So it just keeps evolving into more and more.
What's this idea of like the extreme meditation? Are you familiar with this at all? Where people like David Goggins, you run 10 miles just and get your body into that place of the people who dive into Wim Hof again, the ultra cold water and these extreme environments to put your body in, and then you can get in better touch with your mind, I guess is the idea. Again, I don't know.
It's basically all a way to get in touch with like source. Like the source of like the energy. There's like a quantum field. That's the thing that connects everybody. So this was Dr. Joe, like he worked with Einstein's research. So ultimately, like he looks at they were doing an experiment where Einstein's looking at an atom under a microscope, but you have to have an observer present. So when the observer goes into the room, the atom disappears, and when the observer leaves the room, the atom reappears, which is showing you that we affect matter. Like our energy affects matter. And so it kind of starts there. And so the source of matter is within the atoms. It's you'd have to kind of read the book, but so I don't butcher it. But yeah, it's just incredible. But when you really get there, you're just source, and you feel like your body is regenerated. Like you just everything. Like it's almost like just love is just pumping out of your stomach.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What do we got in the comments, Aubrey?
Honestly, not many questions for her. There is one question that stood out for you. Have you ever been banned from a comedy club for telling jokes, or is that a throwaway?
No, that happened.
Let's tell the story.
All right, sure. I'm not going to say which comedy club, and she's a pretty famous comic now, so I'm not going to say who she is either. But I was at a club, and when you're a house comic, you sit there and you do 3 or 4 shows a night, making $25 a set. And I was still drinking pretty heavy back then. So first show, second show, there had been some shooting, and this girl was just holding court all night about evil white men and the patriarchy and guns and blah 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 blah. And by the third show, I was probably about 6 Manhattans in, and I finally was like, let me ask you a fucking question, with all due respect.
Oh shit.
What's a more likely scenario? That I would need a gun to kill you, or that you would need a gun to stop me?
Right.
Everything that you fucking have is thanks to a gun. I don't like anything that you're saying, but I have to let you say it, because if I don't, a man with a gun will threaten to put me in a cage for the rest of my fucking life. Like, your whole career you owe to a gun. And she was just like flabbergasted, and then she turned on the victim fucking, pulled the victim card. Did you just threaten to kill me? I was like, that was your fucking takeaway from this? And then the other guys were like, that's not cool, bro. And I'm like, the same applies for you guys. I can fucking kill all of you with my bare hands. You know that, right? Like, the guns are the reason I'm not doing that. Like, anyway, email the next day. Did you threaten to kill so-and-so fucking last night? I was like, no, I fucking didn't. No, well, hey, look, you're suspended from the fucking club. And I'm like, well, fuck you if you think I actually did. And then they were like, fuck me. Now you can never work here ever again. Oh, no. Yeah, so that's that.
So you're banned for life?
I'm banned.
There's no way to repair that?
They couldn't afford me anymore. So prosperity is the best revenge. Yeah. But again, that the victim industrial complex, I hate more than anything else on earth. I wouldn't apologize. I would double down on what I said. Don't get mad at me for fucking being right. You know what I'm saying?
Right. How the fuck is Vince McMahon my boss?
Did you see the picture?
No, I didn't see the picture, and I still don't totally get it.
Who are you gonna wrestle first?
Right, you did ask. I did say I'd come back. Who's the best?
Who is the best? Do you know anything about WWE?
Of course.
Okay.
That's real.
We had Sal Greco on 2 weeks ago, who lives life as a Roman Reigns cosplay. Acknowledge him.
I'll do him.
Yeah.
I acknowledge you, sir.
Acknowledge him.
I acknowledge you.
Roman Reigns, Cody. Look, if Mickey G decided not to go after the welterweight title, he would be the #1 wrestler in the world tomorrow. And he shouldn't go after any of these troglodytes. You know who's one of the best wrestlers in the fucking world?
A
troglodyte?
A troglodyte. A chocolate-ite?
Now he's.
Is that a racist term?
Now look at him,
motherfucker.
Yeah, just because you look Cro-Magnon doesn't mean you are. The world needs to know he's got 120 IQ. This fucking guy. So, I'd like to see him wrestle either one of 2 guys.
Okay.
1, Logan Paul.
Right.
2,
that was my first thought.
Patty Mac. Pat McAfee versus the boy, the boy, Mickey G. Maybe a fucking triple threat, Hell in a Cell, fucking cage match. WrestleMania, you got Mick G, Logan Paul, and fucking Patty Mac.
That would be tight.
Make it happen, Vince.
G escort me to the ring.
And
too, right?
do you know how it? I can see it right now. I can see fucking. He's got them stacked. He just fucking wrecks both of them. He's got them fucking stacked. He's got Logan Paul's limp, lifeless body laying on top of fucking old school Patty Mac. He goes to the top rope because he's a real fucking G. And then out of nowhere, that weasel CM Punk comes out and fucking gets retribution, takes a fucking chair to the old ACL, and the fucking kid tumbles. Patty Mac rolls over. He gets the 1, the 2, but then the big guy comes in and saves him before the 3 count. And that's it. Then I pick up the Mick, put him on the fucking Patty Mac. We get the 1, we get the 2, we get the 3.
Bang.
Wow.
And the fucking champ gets the strap.
Vince McMahon, are you hiring?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is right there.
There you go.
Yeah, Logan Paul gets in there somewhere.
What happens to him?
Oh, you know what he did? Logan Paul knocked me out earlier, and that's why I wasn't able to see CM Punk coming.
That's why you weren't able to help my ACL.
But then fucking, as us Irish do, I recover from the concussion just in time to get in
At a
there.
rampant rate.
You gotta fucking recover from the concussion. I gotta tell you, Vince, I'd watch that. Al Snow, I know you're listening. Make it happen. I know you're an AEW guy, but make it happen, buddy. Okay, I'm just saying.
Is
Some
are
fucking
Triple H and Steph still involved in wrestling?
Yeah.
They are? Steph stepped down, though, no?
Yeah, I think I don't know. There's some like palace intrigue. I think they tried to take it over from the old man after he got caught. With his
on
hand
some
in the
succession
cookie jar.
shit?
Yeah, and then he let them run it for a little bit. It was like, this ain't it, and he just won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old is Vince McMahon? Anyone know?
He's in the 70s. I don't know.
good.
Yeah.
Man, he's a true success story. He grew up in a trailer.
beast.
Did
he really?
He grew up in a trailer in North Carolina. His pops owned I don't think he lived with his dad, but his dad owned so it was all regional, right?
Yep.
His dad owned the New York area. There'd be like an Ohio area, it'd be all around. There'd be then down south, and Vince McMahon ended up buying out all the regions. You know what I mean, and made it worldwide.
77.
77.
Net worth as of this morning, $2.9 billion.
That's gonna probably bump because he was bought by Endeavor, right?
That's right. And it's going public.
He was bought.
And it's going public.
They didn't buy anything.
It's true. Look how competitive he is.
I'm just confused.
He gets nothing out of this. But he's like, Dana would never be bought. Dana does the buying.
Daddy Dana.
That's hilarious. So anyway, back to the task at hand. The transitioning, young kids and stuff like that. What are your thoughts?
Have you had any surgeries?
No.
No?
Nothing.
Do you plan on?
I think so. I think I will. I kind of gave myself like a January 1st next year.
What do you think you're going for?
Like what?
Like boobs?
Yeah, just boobs. Like
Okay.
that would start. I don't know.
Okay.
But I did that to myself to make myself have a compass. You know what I mean? And like prove me wrong, right? January 1st, we start something, pills or something, prove me wrong. So it's kind of like that. But as far as kids, I mean, look, sometimes with the kid. You know what I mean? Like, some kids are just, it's like super flamboyant. When the kid comes out and the mom's like, son, you were flamboyant, in the nursery, right? So, but I mean, I'm not qualified to, God, I mean.
No, that's not true.
It's hard to put a rule on it. But I had to have a cousin who's gay. Not a surprise.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Happens.
So, I mean.
Not a surprise.
What would have been the ideal situation for you? Your exposure as a kid, so that you would have better understood what was happening.
Yeah, it would have been a bad decision for me, at least initially, because I wanted to connect with my friends,
Sure.
and to do that would have been like, you're ostracized. It's over. So, it's a tough one for me to answer. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think it would have to be like, if you really just know, if your kid, you know when you know. For that, then yeah, I think that's a beautiful thing. The earlier you can do it.
What about the people who are having like remorse about like regretting it later down the road?
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, and as society, we need to protect the most vulnerable, right? Like, I understand that you have both sides where it's like, this is what that person feels like in the moment.
Right.
But also, it's pretty irreversible and irrevocable damage that's being done. You're cutting out parts of your anatomy, or you're taking hormones at a time when your body, like, I wanted to be a Major League Baseball player. There's nobody in the world that would have let my dad give me steroids at 12 years old until I was fucking 25.
It's too bad.
Yeah, right? Like, sorry, Dad. There's nobody that would have done that. That would have been he would have been put in jail. Right? And these hormones are steroids. I mean, these hormones are what they are. And they're going to change someone's physiology. They're going to change their mental capacities. You wouldn't let a 12-year-old go fucking buy a pack of smokes. You wouldn't let a 12-year-old fucking go and...
Agreed.
Drink alcohol. Look, you give them as much help with the mental aspect as they need. That, I think we can all agree on. Like, you shouldn't have had to wait until this late in your life to come to the realization of this is the center of my pain and this is the manifestation of that pain, right? Yeah. So I think if you had access to better, mental health and it
that's
wasn't
what I was thinking. Like, what if
younger.
Instead of like going through with what do they call, like, hormones?
Yeah.
It was like you had to go through like therapy first, or like kind of like a psychiatrist where you can kind of talk this stuff through and see if this is the proper, way to go. Maybe something like that.
I'll tell you
They
why.
used to require that.
They still do to a certain level, but it's the well's poison.
And they all got to pay for that, right?
Well,
Or
that's
have
where I was
insurance
going.
and stuff,
You know
so it's
exactly
like-
where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
The well is poisoned because the people that they're sending the kids to are far biased towards these hyper left wing postmodern.
We probably shouldn't like send money to
Ideals.
Ukraine and like kind of focus on like helping out over here with people. You know what I mean?
How
A little
dare
more?
you? How dare you?
What do you mean?
How dare you, sir?
What?
Do you not know what the...
So we talked about the 4 people you could have at your at a dinner. Like, if you had 4 people you could just pick to have historically, whatever, dead or alive. Could you imagine what George Washington would have to say to Biden?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Would it be great?
Like, you know what I mean? You're supposed to stick to
He'd
taking
probably
care of
smack him around a lot is what he probably did.
Rip him a
Probably
new
wouldn't-
asshole.
He probably wouldn't have much talking. He'd be like, motherfucker.
You did what?
What happened now? You sent how much money to where?
Meanwhile,
For
people are
what?
suffering over here. Crazy.
But just think about that, right? Joe Biden is trying to pass, whether you agree with it or not. Just think about the fucking this sentence I'm about to say. Joe Biden is trying to pass anti-gun legislation in America while sending American money to the Ukraine to buy fucking guns. That's a 100% true statement. We're trying to pass anti-gun legislation in America so American citizens can't have access to firearms, while those American citizens' money is being taxed and sent to the Ukraine for those people to buy firearms. Whether you agree with it or not,
Everyone's a fucking
whether you
hypocrite.
agree with it or fucking not, that is the reality of a situation that's happening right now. We're talking about billions of dollars. And again, circling back to the issue of trans, a transition child over the term of that transitioning period is worth $2.2 million per in insurance fees alone. So there is an incentive that's not talked about outside of the political spectrum, where most of these psychiatrists that they talk to and most of these school counselors, they tend to be women, they tend to be left wing, they have that broken bird. You heard the broken wing theory. So there's these type of women that tend into these positions because they have like hyper intense, overly motherly instincts. They see a broken bird and they want to like nurse it back to life, and their personal validation comes from that. So now everywhere they look, they see broken wings,
Right.
and now they have to save. They're like constantly it's a savior complex, really. So they're talking to these people, and they're like, this person might be having, and I forget this woman's name. She was on Joe Rogan and she was fantastic. And she's like, dude, Joe, I've been a feminist for 20 years. I've been a doctor. I'm not some right wing nut, but the people that are used to cut themselves in high school and look for attention, they were outcasts, or they were internalizing pain. They would become anorexic or they're bulimic or they cut themselves, which is bad in its own right, but you survive it and you live a life. A high propensity of those people are now becoming gender fluid or trans or something like that. And it's irrevocable, the damage, once you get pills and surgery involved.
Right. Yeah.
And whether they can grow out of this, whether it's their painful transformation, they can wake up at 21 and be like, I was never any of that. I was I was just struggling through puberty.
Yeah. Right.
And now they're fucked.
Yeah.
And that's something that we, again,
You
and
can
this
be caught in
goes
something you don't emotionally understand.
and this goes back to what you said earlier, which I couldn't agree with more. It's less about pandering to the extremes and more about finding common ground.
Yeah.
But there is this idea, especially in LA, it's a status symbol almost now to have a trans or a non-binary or a child.
Yeah.
Whereas it was hyper repressed. Perhaps that's an overcorrection as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and in your community, my question to you would be, if you're hanging in the gay community and you're preaching moderation, how is that being received in those communities?
So when you say moderation,
So if you're in a gay community, and my bias towards it is like, this is far left wing pride, whatever we want to do, dance down the street,
okay.
I'm talking where I grew up, Greenwich Village, fucking Halloween weekend. There are no rules. Like, this is
So most of the people that I hang out with are servers, bartenders, things like that. So they're all pretty regular. You have your campy and your the out there, but yeah, there's probably 2% of them are extreme either way.
Are these conversations happening in your community? Are people talking about these sort of things, or is the idea that you're constantly under attack, we just have to band together?
Yeah, it doesn't really come up. It hasn't come up with me at all. I think drag queens will talk about it, but yeah, I haven't heard it discussed at all. Usually it's, you're there to kind of, one of the cool things about the gay community is just everybody's been through something. Everybody's been bullied or afraid of being bullied. So there's a different level.
Hasn't every person been through something?
Yeah, but in the
You mean something more that everyone shares?
Yeah,
in that community?
In the bro culture, you have to put up, yeah, that didn't bother me, like whatever. Versus in the gay, people are like, tell me how you feel about that.
Oh, so they're more in touch maybe with
Yeah.
their feelings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very, very much so.
Are there people that
Very
abuse
much
that
so.
though? Or are there people that like it's bad again? Preaching moderation. It's bad when it's like, bro, I'm not gonna cry. It's like your dad died. It's okay
Right.
to cry.
Yeah.
But the other side of that is also like the person that constantly needs the fucking affection and affirmation. And it's
Yeah. Very affected.
yeah, it's like they're just getting off their sweet, sweet victim juice, bro. Like can't. And I obviously I have a fucking very adverse effect to the victim shit. I can't stand the victim shit.
Know what Aurelius said about that? Because it's been my guy lately. Said every person suffers, but not every person pities themselves.
Who said that?
Aurelius.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he said every person dies, but not everybody dies whining.
That's interesting. One more time with that.
Every person suffers, but not every person pities themselves. And that's what you want to aspire to. And every person dies, but not every person dies whining.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you feel like since you've come out as Jessica in this community, you've gotten more adulation, you've gotten more acceptance?
Yeah.
Now, do you see yourself seeking that out more as well?
No, so that was when I met you. That's where I was. Everything was it's called like supply. Like a narcissist will have supply where they have people they know they can brag to or whatever. So it was definitely my supply that I would go to feel approved and accepted. So I was still figuring myself out. But no, I've just honestly the hardest thing was that you're doing something and it's all compartmentalized and it's like I'm supposed to be getting shamed and I'm not. And so then you're kind of just like living in that dopamine, like, oh my God, I'm being like, these beautiful girls and cool people and guys alike, and they're all being cool to you. And you're just like, I would have these moments where you're like, this makes no sense. Like, I should be getting strung up by my toes. So I'm just now, like I said, starting to actually look at myself, not at my past, but as what's right here. So I'm
now,
just getting.
are you still religious at all?
No, I denounced Catholicism when I was at my bottom, and I felt afraid to pray, and I felt guilty about praying, and I felt, but is it the Our Father? Did they change the words? Am I supposed to do a Hail Mary after? All this stuff, and when you're at the bottom and you're looking at death, you're looking into your soul, and you're just like, And I'm like, why am I afraid to pray? Some guy will say it's arrogant to pray to God, and you have all these things. And I was like, you know what? I don't need to go read a book. He's here, isn't he? If you get in an accident, they don't take you to a church; they take you to the hospital. So I'm like, I'm cutting out religion. I'm cutting out everything as my parents put me in that position. And probably a day later, it all hit. It was like, no, I'm guided. I do believe in God.
So you believe in a God?
A God?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it hit me. It was like too much has happened too fast for this to come to life, and the guidance and the breadcrumbs in life to follow. So I absolutely believe in something.
Interesting.
But no label to it. Yeah. No Catholicism. It's guilt. It's
It is very guilt based.
a lot of guilt, and he's going to hell and you're going to hell. And
Sky cop.
Yeah. So I walked away from it.
Well, before we begin to wrap up here, do we have anything in the comments? I know we're a
do you
little
guys
late
have
on the comments there,
four
Aubrey.
people that you'd want to go to dinner with that are alive? Anyone got anyone?
You guys?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we did
I
ours.
got my four.
Go for
we
it.
did ours
Real quick,
on
run it.
Friday.
Yeah, we do ours on Friday.
Well, yeah, we did ours.
I'll run it real
on
quick.
Friday.
I picked Babe Ruth.
Why?
Because I just think he's got to have some great stories.
Right.
You know what I mean? He was alive in a crazy time. He was one of a kind. I think I took Mike Tyson. I feel like he's grown so much. He's like a philosopher nowadays. You know what I mean? It's been interesting to watch his whole journey and path. I took Marcus Aurelius, who he was. We talked about him on Friday, but he was the
Meditations, right?
yes. He wrote Meditations. He was a king,
Warrior
but he was like a philosopher, right? So he was very he had everything at his fingertips, and he only he lived virtuously. And Joe Rogan. Yeah. But my real one was my two grandfathers, my dad and my great grandfathers. But I figured I'd pick a sexier one of celebrities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would yours be?
Oh man, I was thinking the whole time. I would say definitely Dr. Joe Dispenza, and probably just a handful of my ex-girlfriends. Do some apologizing.
I feel like you can make that dinner happen.
Yeah. That's very possible. Let's set it up.
We'll set it up.
We'll set it up, right?
We'll have it live here.
Yeah.
We'll give us their number. We'll invite them.
We'll invite them.
Sling a thing and be like, hi. Go ahead.
I think probably my most interesting ancestors. So people that came way before me, so I can better understand where we came from.
Well, that's why my real
their
one
history
is
was.
my grandfather's dad and great grandfather.
Yeah.
Because I feel like family, that's the people who are going to be most like you.
Yeah.
They're going to have the same, closest to the same DNA, all that shit.
Yeah, and some of your past family was probably super interesting. Some of them were bad motherfuckers. We made it here, right?
100%.
So I would like to sit down with 4 of the baddest motherfuckers in my lineage from the past 1,000 years, maybe.
Well, we're running low on time, and I want to ask you one more question. But mine is Ben Franklin, Caesar, Hitler, and Jesus. And if you want to know why, tune into Friday. So real quick, just before we get out of here, and I want to thank you so much for being brave and coming here and doing this, especially in this political climate. You had to know, especially we follow each other on social media, you had to know that one is going to be softballs all day, and you handled it really well.
Thank you.
What would you tell 15-year-old you now? If there's a kid listening to this, if you got a kid, Mickey Gall's a big UFC guy. He's got fans all over the world. If there's a high school kid listening right now that's heard everything that you said and said, man, that sounds like me, what piece of advice would you give them?
Yeah, where everything that you're afraid of, that's your task. That's your. If you're afraid of what someone thinks of you, that needs to go right on the table. If you're whatever you're afraid of, bullies, whatever it is, we're the ones most times. I mean, obviously, if you're getting hit and things like that, but yeah, just everything that you're afraid of is never as bad as we make it out to be.
Amen.
Don't lose too much time to fear.
Don't lose too much time to fear. I love that. Fortune
That's
favors
awesome.
the bold.
I love that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
For Wild Bill, Slick Mick the Ruler, Jessica Fawkes. Do you want to give out your socials? You want to keep them private? Do you want people to follow you or not? Give out your socials, please. If people want to have a conversation, hit up.
Jay, hold on one second.
I like that you don't totally know. That's gangster.
Yeah. J Fawkes, Fawkes, J Fawkes 2021.
J Fawkes 2021.
Wild Bill.
At Bill Hendrickson.
Bill Hendrickson.
Yep.
Wild Bill. Thanks for joining us again, Wild Bill.
Wild Bill, thanks
Hell
for coming
yeah.
all the
I
way
love it
up.
here.
For the great one, Slick Mick the Ruler, for Christian in the booth over there, Omri coming to us from Gas Digital. Thanks, Bobby, for getting us up and running. I am Gerard Michaels. This has been Slick and Thick. Check out Rudy's Flowers, WI.com, and enjoy the next selection on Gas Digital. We'll be back Friday at 1 o'clock. Peace.